Today we'll be considering picture formatting in MS Word. Please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, kindly subscribe to our channel and like our videos. Also comment on our videos. As you create documents in MS Word, you are not limited to those commands that are used to format text. Like you can also insert pictures into your document, and within of the document you can as well format the pictures to suit setting of your requirement. So there are many ways to format in Word. For instance, you can change the size or shape of your image to better suit your document. You can also enhance the appearance of your image using Word image adjustment tools. So today we are considering picture formatting in MS Word. Alright, yesterday I showed us how we could insert images or pictures into our document. Now we want to look what are the possible formatting options that we have in MS Word that we can use in making our picture so our document looks good alongside with the picture. So I'm going to bring in for us to consider how to crop an image in MS Word. So we'll go first to insert, click on the insert tab, click on the picture drop down, and then click on this device. So we go to we want to bring in a picture into our document so we can edit the picture using the various formatting options that we have. So now, like as I told us yesterday, when you are to carry out formatting to insert a picture, the first thing you do is to click your insertion point where you want the picture to actually be. So I click my insertion point here, then I click on the drop down for pictures, then I click on stock images. Alright, so let's assume that this is the picture we want to bring into our document. Sometimes when you bring in the picture into the document, the particular area that you want the particular area of the picture that you want to display may actually be bigger than what you are having on the screen. I think I want to get another kind of picture to explain what I'm trying to explain, but I will still use that picture. So let me get another picture. Alright, let me pick this. So sometimes the picture you want to actually work with, take for instance, this is the picture, but the focus of the picture that you want to be seen in the document maybe just a man putting on a nose mask and pressing his phone. So you want to reduce or to call attention just to that particular object in the image. So what do? You would see that on this side of the ribbon you will see crop. that is on the last end, the end of the ribbon, you will see crop. So when you click on crop, the image will immediately take up a new side point that is black. Remember yesterday when you click on the picture, it will take up side points, but those are circular and white. But when you click on crop, it will take up also side points, but these ones, they are not circular. These ones, they are what? They are angular and straight. So wherever or whichever aspect of the image you want to reduce, that is the aspect you will drag. So if I come to this part of the picture and I drag, you will discover that when I click on enter, the other parts that are not needed will be excluded from the picture. But that they are excluded from the picture does not mean that they are deleted. If I click on this picture, if I double click on it now, you would discover that if I click on the crop again, you will see that that part that was not showing was not actually deleted. It's just that it was covered out and you can't see it in the picture. But we'll come to the point where you can delete that particular part out of the picture. But for now, what I want to show to us here is how to apply the crop function in your image. So you can see how I cropped it from this side, and assuming I don't want to crop it from one side, if I want to crop it from the angle, if I drag it from this angle, it is going to move uniformly, both horizontal and vertical. It will just move horizontally, equally, horizontally and vertically. You can see as I'm moving it. But if I choose to move it from the middle or the top, it will crop just from one side. So depending on what you want to actually achieve, so this is what I want to achieve, then I click on OK, and that is actually done. So that is how you go about cropping the image. Now there are times whereby you actually want to crop an image, but you want to crop the image into a shape. You want to crop the image into a shape. You can also do that in MS Word. So let me click on this point where I want the image to be. Then I will now go, what I will do is I will select the image. First of all, let me bring in the image. Alright, let me bring in the image. Insert. Now this is the image. If I want to crop this image into a shape, what I will do is I will select this image and then I will click the format picture tab. It's already clicked here. If you can see it, this is picture format tab that is in now. Now on that place where you have the crop, you will discover that there is a drop down arrow at the bottom. When I click on it, you will see crop as one option. As another option, you will see crop to shape, and as I over it, you also see another one is crop to ratio. But let's deal with the crop to shape. Now as I over through the crop to shape, you will see different kind of shapes here. Actually you can crop that image into any of the shapes. So let me pick this for instance. As I click on it, you will discover that it cropped the image into that shape. Now you can reduce it to suit the way you want it to actually look like. Let me bring in another picture and then let me crop it into a shape. This time I will crop it into a circle. The shape I will crop it into is going to be a circle. So just follow up what we are doing. So let me pick this and let me pick this. No, let me pick this and let me insert. Alright, look at this picture. We want to crop it into a shape. So we select the picture. After selecting the picture, you go to the drop down by the crop tool, you click on it, and then you go to the crop to shape and over on it. Now I want to look for a circle, something that is round, to crop it into. So I will click on this. So you can see that I was able to crop the picture into that particular shape, and I can resize it so that it can look good on my document. So you can see you can actually do something like this. Let me do another with this particular image. You go to this, you click the drop down, over it, and then let me pick this. So you can see that the image has been cropped into that particular shape. So depending on actually the kind of design you are doing, you can actually crop an image into a shape. So that is one of them. See, all these are pictures. I only brought them into these particular shapes. They are inside. Now another thing you can do, you can actually create a border around a picture. When we say create a border, that is creating something that looks like a frame around a picture. So let me pick this one. For instance, you select on the picture, and when the format tab comes up, what you do is that you click on the picture border. So that's what I want to do now. Look at this, you will see picture border at this top here, picture border. So when I click on it, it will give me opportunity to do certain adjustment. Actually, I can add weight, the weight I want the border to have. Let me pick 0.6. I want the border to have 0.6. Then I want the border to also have a color that is yellow. You can see it now. So I can actually add a border to any particular picture that I have. You can add it to any of them. So let me add a border to this one. You can add a border, you can add a color, you can also change the weight. The weight is the size of the border. You can do it for any of them. You can do it for any of them. So that is how you go about adding border to your picture alongside with adding the color as well. So depending on the kind of design that you are trying to do, you can add color, you can also add you can add border weight to it. So take note of that. Now the next thing we can also do is we can make image adjustment. We can make image adjustment. With image adjustment tool, you can easily change properties like color, contrast, saturation, and tone. So Word also offer a built-in picture style which can be used to add a frame, a drop shadow, or other form of predefined effect into your work. So let me bring in an image. Let me see if we could make use of this. So when I bring in an image, you would see that at this point here you will see some form of predefined formatting for frame, and when I click on it, you would see there are other kinds of frame that are predefined. You don't need to go and set them by yourself. Like in the case of this one, I was the one who went ahead to set the frame border or the picture border. But in the case of the predefined, it's already defined. You don't need to go and be doing all the settings. So if I click, let's assume I click on this particular double frame, you will see the picture has now taken a double frame around it. So beside that, there are other things you can also see that you can use. You have the corrections, you have the color, you have the artistic effect, you have transparency, all this. You have reset picture, you have change picture, you have compressed picture. All these are formattings that you can also apply to your picture in your MS Word. So what is the corrections about? From the corrections, you can sharpen or soften the image just to adjust how clear or blurry it appears. So if I come to corrections and I click on it, you will see different shapes that, or different looks rather, that I can pick from. Either it's sharp or soften or bright / contrast. You can see it. So depending on the one you actually want, like if I click on this one at the end, you can see sharpen 50%. Then if I click on this one by this side, it said soften 50%. So depending on how you want the picture to actually look, if you want it to be sharpened, you click this and the picture will become really sharp. Then if you want it not to be too sharp, it should be kind of blurry somehow. There are times you want your picture to look like that, you can also click on this. But in between the sharpen 50% and the soften 15%, you have other sharpen and soften percentage look on the sharpen soften area. While on the bright and contrast, you can see different kinds of bright and contrast depending on what the one that suits the design or the look that you want to actually have. So that is for using the correction. Another one is using the color. When you click on it, you will see different shades of color that your picture can actually take, depending on the one that really represents what your document should look like. So depending on it, you can choose from any of them and it will change the color, both in terms of saturation. If you look at the top one is saturation, the other one is color tone, and the third one is recolor. So if I choose this now, black and white, you will see that the image will become what? Black and white. Now I can also come back and do what? Change the saturation. I have choose the recolor, then I cannot change the saturation and the color tone here. But let's assume that is not what I want. I can click no color, no recolor. When I click on no recolor, it will return back to the way it was previously. So all these options, they have a whole lot of choice you can make. All you have to do now is to just play around it. You can even change it to black and white. You can see now it is now in black and white. So in terms of color, there are a lot of things or stuff here you can play with respect to what image or picture formatting. Now beside the color, you also have artistic effect. This artistic effect, it's just to create an extra addition. Like look at this now, this glass. If maybe what you are designing needs something that looks like a glass surface, let me go back to this image and use one of them. Alright, let me click this and then let me go to the artistic effect. Now you can see how this individual effect looks like. Like as I put it here now, you will see how the picture now look like. When I put it on this one, you see how the picture now look like. When I put it here, you see how the picture look like. So depending on what artistic feature that you want to find with the image or the picture that you are importing, you can as well make a lot of changes for about it. So you also have the artistic effect option here, which gives you access to other change that you can make with respect to artistic effect. Now another thing you can actually do is what we have the transparency. Take for instance, the image is too sharp, you want it to faint a little. You can click on this and choose. You can actually choose the level of transparency that you want. But if the level of transparency you want is not actually found in these options here, you can click on the picture transparency and it will give you more control for you to what? Choose the transparency. So these are possible options that you have in picture editing. Now the final thing I want to talk about is compressing pictures. When we talk about compressing, what are we talking about? Every picture come with a certain resolution and pixelation and how do I call it, size. So sometimes when the picture is a high quality picture, the size becomes very, very large. And there are times whereby that document you are creating, maybe you want to send it as an email, or maybe you want to send it through the social media, like maybe WhatsApp for instance. WhatsApp has a size per document that can be sent through WhatsApp. If you want to send a document bigger than that, it will not allow you send it. Also in your email, when you want to send a document and the document is too big, I think the one of email is 25 is it megabyte, why that for WhatsApp is 16 megabyte. So when your document becomes too big, it will not be able to, you can't send it easily through any of these channel. So and sometimes this image you are bringing into the document, those images, they are very large. They are very large images. So when you input them into your document, they will make the document size to become bigger. Sometimes also the pictures that you crop, the side that is cropped out, these are not necessarily deleted. That contributes to also make the document size to become more bigger. So sometimes when you want to reduce the size of your document so that it can be easily sent across any media or through any means, you need to be able to compress the picture so that it will not be too big and it will not increase the size of your document. But sometimes when you compress a picture, the quality of that picture can drop. That is, the sharpness can drop. It cannot become more pixelated. That is, it will not be looking more blurry than the way it was normally. So depending if that is what you want, fine. But if that is not what you want, you now have to look for another means of reducing the size of your document. So how do we go about compressing picture? Now if I double click on the picture, you can see at the top here, that is the tool to compress picture. That is the tool to compress picture. So when I click on it, you can see these two options here, they are very important. The first one say apply only to this picture. Why? If you don't want it to apply to only this picture, you want it to apply to all the pictures in the document, you will uncheck this. But if you want it to apply to this picture alone, you will check this. Then the next option say delete cropped areas of the picture. So those cropped areas of the picture that you are no longer needing, but they are there increasing the size of the document, you can actually delete them. So when you check this, it will allow you that those areas that you don't need, they will be deleted. Now these are other choices you can make depending on where you want to send the email or where you want to use the document. This one say web. This particular, if I choose on, if I make choice of this, is for web, that is website. They say it's good for web pages and projectors. This one they say email. They say minimize document size for sharing over email. This one is print. Excellent quality on most printers and screens. This one is HD. They say good quality for high definition display. So depending on what actually you are compressing the document for. If you are compressing it to send over email, just come and check on this one. If you are compressing it to use it on a web page, check on this one. If you are compressing it to print, check on this one. If you are compressing it for high quality display, you check on this one. So when you do that, you can now click on OK. And when you click on OK, the image will be compressed. So now I want to click on that for the web. For the image, then I click OK. If you observe the picture, you will discover that the picture became somehow became somehow rough, or should I say it looks changed, because the compression I did was for email, and if you want to send it over email, you need to reduce it drastically. But if I come and I click on that particular one that they say for high definition display, when I click OK, you will see the picture become more finer and the look become more clearer. So that is how you go about what compression of what of your pictures. Time will not allow us. I would have compressed and saved the document, and you will see the size. Let me just see if I can do it. So this one now, I want to save it first of all, and after saving it, I'm going to also save another one, and you will just check. You will check the size. You will see that the size will be different. So I have saved this particular document. Now I want to compress the pictures and resave again. So now I go to compression, and then I will click apply to all the pictures. Then I will choose email. Okay. So now I will save this document as well, and we'll go and compare the sizes of the two documents. So I have saved this one as well. So let's go and compare the sizes to see how that change, that compression makes difference in the document. So this is the first one. As I click on it, you can see the size. The size is 804 kilobytes. 804 kilobytes. Now when I click on the second one, you can see it. The size is what? 260 kilobytes. So you can see the same document, but because we compressed the picture, you can see that the size became reduced. So that is how you go about what picture formatting in MS Word. Please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, kindly subscribe to our channel and like our videos. Also comment on our videos.